Hi, this is Dave with Level Up Woodworking, and today we're going to talk about our biggest enemy, and that is dust. So stay tuned. Now, I know there's quite a few shop risks. There's moving blades everywhere on power tools. People cut themselves on table saws all the time, and it's very dangerous. But one of the hidden dangers of woodworking is dealing with dust and trying to manage dust, because you don't know immediately whether or not you've caused a problem or not. You're going to find out 20, 30, maybe 40 years later. So let me talk about some of the things that you can do to manage dust in your shop and some of the lessons I've learned along the way. Let's start with number one. Now, a couple of years ago, I started using an N95 mask, kind of like this one right here. In fact, I think this is the one. I think I saved it. And this is okay, but it's not great. And one of the projects I did was I was cutting MDF to make molds for plywood that I wanted to bend to make a chair. And you know how much dust MDF really causes. It was really a problem, but I'm glad I had this, but I realized I needed to take the next step. And once I understood that, I went to this. This is the base camp dust mount, and this mask works pretty good. Covers, goes around the back of your neck, it goes on the ears. It even has an insert in here, so when this gets dirty, you can replace it. I had replacement filters. I still have some here. And I was pretty happy with this for a long time. But I just didn't feel like it sealed well enough for what I wanted as a final product. So then I moved to this. And this is the GSM Eclipse P100 mask. And I think this thing's great. And I'm not being paid to advertise this or anything. It's got two filters on either side that you can pull out. You get some replacement filters to put back in. I always have those on hand so I can use them when I need them. It seals really well around your face, which is one of the things I really like. And if it's not tight enough, you can tighten these straps to make it tighter. So it goes around your head and the back of your neck. So I'm very happy with this. I even have a case for it. I've been using this for probably a year and a half, and I think this is the best mask for me on the market. On Amazon, it has a 4.5-star rating, and there's thousands of people that have rated it. So I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5 because I think this is one of the best things on the market. So if you're interested in this, there is a link below in the description that can tell you where to get it on Amazon. Again, I get nothing for it, just my opinion. But I think this is the best thing I can do to protect my face. So that's number one. So now let's go to the number two thing I can do to manage dust. The second thing I did to manage dust was to build this air filtration cart, and I've been really happy with this. When I do a lot of cutting in the shop, I set this up, turn it on, and let it run. And it does quite a bit about filtering the dust out of the air. And you can see the filters here are getting pretty dirty. I'm going to need to replace them. It's got a 2100 CFM fan that has 4 speeds. It's a 20-inch fan. There's 3 MERV 15 filters on the outside that I can replace when they get dirty. It has an extension cord so I can plug it in and roll it around anywhere. I have a remote for it so I can turn it off and on. And I can, like I said before, I can set the speed. I have 3 different speeds. This has been a great project for me. I actually have plans for this. I've got a video. It's in the description. This video got a lot of looks because it's kind of a nice project. And I use it as a tabletop. I put a lot of tools on here when I'm working in the shop. So this is my number 2 fighter of dust, and it's worked well for me. I've had this for quite a while now. My number 3 dust fighter is right in here. It's built into my assembly table. And if you open this up, I've got a DIY cyclone in here. And I built that myself. And behind this panel is my shop vac. And I'll take this panel off so you can get a chance to see that. Now, there's a lot going on in here, so let's take a closer look. So, I've got this DIY dust collector that I built out of 2 5-gallon buckets. I made this top myself with the hose fittings. Now, Oneida makes a really nice dust cyclone that you could use to put in here. Dust Stopper has one, PowerTech has one, so you can buy these. I decided I wanted to try to make it myself. I think it works pretty good. I've been very happy with it. I think in the future, I would probably still use this versus buy another one. It's pretty simple to put together. And then I've got my shop vac in here as well, and quite a bit of hosing and cords. It's a tight space, but it's okay. I hook a hose up right here to this output. I've got a hose right here. It's a 10-foot PowerTech hose that I can use on this. And I can use it for any small tools on my assembly table. I actually had this built in to use for my job site saw, table saw that I had, but now I've got a bigger saw. So this has been a really good tool for me and done a great job of collecting dust. Number 4 on my list is my dust collection system, which is comprised of this piping. And way back in the corner back here is a Grizzly 1.5 horsepower, 280 CFM HEPA filter unit. I had to actually cut into a cabinet to be able to install that. It's wall mounted. Works great. I've been very happy with it. Got a really good deal on it. I think I paid about $500 delivered, and they're selling for $650 plus delivery at this point. So if you're interested in something like that, keep an eye out for sales, because Grizzly has sales all the time. The piping here I got on a Craigslist purchase. A guy had bought a house that had this installed previously from a woodworker. Didn't want it, took it all down, sold it to me for $60. And I still have some excess left. Now, 3 things about this dust collection system. First thing is, there are no 90-degree bends. Definitely don't want 90-degree bends in your system. It will clog up your system and slow down your airflow. Secondly, short runs. I made the runs about as short as I possibly could based on the layout of the tools in the garage. And the short runs make a big difference. Third thing is, you want these hoses to be as short as possible. Both of mine are about 10 feet long, which is much longer than I would like, but I park cars in this garage, so I have to be able to pull these tools out. In the future, I hope to have a dedicated spot for these tools. I will pipe the hose as close as I can and have short runs for these. So that's 3 things you want to think about when you're installing a dust collection system. And you won't believe this, my number 5 dust management tool is a leaf blower. And it works great. I clean out the shop probably once a month with it, go off through all the tools and on the floor, and it does a great job. Now, I would say wear a mask, wear a good mask when you're doing this, but because the dust gets all over the place, but I get it all out of the garage and outside. So this is my number 5. Last but not least is my number 6 dust management tool, and it's exercise. You got to get out and move to exercise your lungs, to keep them clean, keep them healthy. My doctor recommends that I do 150 minutes of cardio every single week. That's 30 minutes 5 times a week. Not a big deal. You can walk, you can run, you can play sports like basketball or football, you can go cycling, But if you use an electric bike, make sure you're pumping hard enough to get your blood going and keep those lungs healthy. I exercise a lot, so I go well beyond 150 minutes a week. And I think it helps me, but I think it's a great tool to fight dust and to keep yourself healthy is to exercise. So hey guys, those are my 6 things to really try to focus on dust as an enemy and my war against dust. Now, several of those I've learned my way through, like how to put a dust collection system, what kind of mask to use, building a cyclone, what have you. Learned a lot from that, and there's a lot you can learn on the internet or YouTube or what have you about how to build those kinds of things. The exercise, well, hey, I'm just a believer that good, healthy exercise is good for the body and will be good for the lungs. So I would certainly want to encourage that. Now, the war on dust is never done, and there's always things I'm going to look at improving, and I've got 3 things that I want to focus on in the future. First is my miter saw. I really tried to work on a very small, compact solution, and I failed. There are some small solutions out there. There's some boxes that people have built around their miter saws. There's miter saw tents, but I really want to focus on a very compact solution for my saw. So I'm going to keep working that one. That's a big deal. The second thing is installing a boom for my assembly table where I do a lot of my sanding and assembly work. I think the boom will make it a lot easier to use dust collection on the table versus having to pull a hose up from underneath. And so that's the second thing I want to work on. And then the third thing is probably a stage 2 setup for my dust collection system. I don't think it's needed right now, especially with a HEPA filter, but I think in the future I'm probably going to lean in that direction. So hey, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Maybe you've learned a few things about what to do to fight your war on dust. And if you like what you see, please hit like. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I would certainly appreciate it. I've got a lot of good stuff coming in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.